In this edition of the Red and Blue Political Roundup, President Trump Monday ordered a number of documents and text messages related to the Russia investigation to be declassified. CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reed has the latest.
The president has ordered the declassification of several documents and text messages related to the Russia investigation. Today, he ordered the declassification of portions of a FISA warrant that was used to conduct surveillance on Carter Page. Now, the president and his allies have argued that that surveillance was not properly supported by any evidence of possible misdoing by Mr. Page. They have argued that this was politically motivated. However, there are concerns that by declassifying this FISA application, the president and his allies could be trying to undermine what is a very important tool for law enforcement. There are concerns that by declassifying this information, you put at risk sources and methods and may dissuade other people from coming forward and helping law enforcement conduct this kind of surveillance. Now, the other items that the president has ordered declassified include text messages from several of the key players in the Russia investigation, including former FBI Director James Comey, as well as Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, two officials who worked on the Russia investigation, as well as Secretary Clinton's email investigation, but have come under scrutiny for comments that they have made about the president and his supporters. In fact, the Office of Inspector General at the Justice Department has criticized both of them for showing a possible political bias in this probe. So why is the president doing all of this now? Well, this is part of his effort to try to undermine the Russia investigation. On Friday, the president's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, said that he would not only plead guilty in his second special counsel trial, but he would agree to cooperate. This is the fourth Trump associate who Mueller has gotten to cooperate. This was arguably the biggest fish he has caught so far, and the president has been strangely quiet about that, but here you sort of see his response. He's taking things up another notch to try to discredit and undermine the Russia investigation, and with it, of course, any eventual outcome that touches him or his inner circle. Elaine?
Paula Reed, thank you. Joining me now from Washington is Reuters political correspondent Ginger Gibson. All right, Ginger, so what is the White House hoping to achieve with this?
The president is trying to wage a public relations campaign. We know that they're saying that this is in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, but have no doubt the president cares very much about what the public thinks. And he knows that the Russia investigation has become a drag on his party going into the November elections. We can assume that he hopes that the public will see conspiracy in these text messages and in this data, this information from the FISA warrant application. That is what he tweeted today. But there's a risk that instead of seeing a conspiracy, voters see evidence and that they agree with the investigation instead of discrediting it.
Well, let's talk about the latest developments here. Court documents show that lawyers are ready for the sentencing phase in the Michael Flynn case. President Trump's former national security advisor pleaded guilty to lying to investigators and has been cooperating with the special counsel. What does that say, Ginger, about where the Russia probe is heading?
The Russia probe is at this point a bit like us watching a picture being painted, except we can't see the canvas and we can only see what colors the painter is picking up. We know strings are beginning to come together. What we don't know is what that's going to produce, what kind of cooperation Flynn or Manafort might have agreed to give in exchange for reduced sentencing, and we're going to start to see some of that come together. We do know that Mueller's team might be in a bit of a pause right now. The Justice Department discourages taking new actions within 60 days of an election. We're inside that window, and that might also be why this sentencing is coming after the November election, and that we see President Trump knowing that they're kind of paused, ramping things up.
Yeah, still very much an incomplete picture. All right, let's shift gears here. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and the woman who accused him of sexually assaulting her will testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee next Monday. Ginger, what are the senators on the committee saying about the change of plans?
This all unraveled very quickly today in Washington after this woman came forward yesterday, Professor Ford, detailing what she says was a sexual assault that occurred when she and Brett Kavanaugh were teenagers. The senators seemed to quickly move into a position where they admitted that more investigation was needed, that they needed to hear from all parties involved. And this is a real political necessity move, being perceived as not taking this woman seriously, not listening to her accusations, and not giving her time to sort of talk through what happened could have had real political ramifications for these senators in November.
Well, is there a way to tell how concerned are both Republicans and the White House about this?
The White House is not signaling the same level of concern as we see Republican senators, but we've seen some who've been previously critical of the president, like Jeff Flake or Corker or Susan Collins, coming out and saying more was needed. But in addition to that, we've seen folks like Grassley and Kennedy of Louisiana agreeing to this extended testimony portion, and that's a sign that the party really is taking into account what has been said here.
Well, on another issue, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that an investigation into FEMA Administrator Brock Long's travel has been referred to federal prosecutors. He addressed the investigation on Sunday's Face the Nation. Let's listen.
Yes, there's an ongoing investigation. We've been working with the OIG, very clearly, and I can come back and put context around that. But in regards to Secretary Nielsen, I've never been asked to resign. Secretary Nielsen and I talk every day. We have a very professional, functional relationship. Those vehicles are to supply me with secure comms. The program was developed in 2008, way before I even got here. It ran for me the same way that it ran for anybody before me. And we comply every day. We'll make meaningful changes. I would never intentionally violate any rules, that I was there aware of.
Ginger, what are you hearing about this? And is there a sense in Washington that Long's job could be in jeopardy?
There is a sense that in the future, once past the Hurricane Florence response, that Long could have his job in jeopardy. And this is really just another piece of evidence that the Trump administration at large struggled to set up their operations. They struggled to get their members of their cabinet and of their administration following the rules, understanding and knowing what the rules were and how these systems operate. There was a lot of criticism in the beginning that the chaos, and then the administration said, oh, well, we'll figure it out. We're new. We're working it out. And this is what comes of that chaos when they don't have the people in place to really implement the rules. They had to go through a new ethics oversight person, and this is really playing out over months and over years in this administration, causing problems.
Yeah, we'll watch to see how this particular situation continues to develop. Ginger Gibson in Washington for us. Ginger, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.